So, as you can see, the smoke situation here has gotten a lot worse since my last video a couple days ago. I'm going to take this off now. The reason I started the video with this mask on is not just because of the smoke from the forest fires right above our home here, but it's also appropriate time with the pandemic that's going on, and also because there's something that really stinks right now going on with the stock I want to talk about, and that's Nikola. Now, in my last video I discussed or just briefly mentioned Nikola because they're supposedly on the cutting edge of hydrogen and battery EV technology for trucks. It's kind of come out recently here. It's been quite an eventful few days for that company, Nikola, in that earlier this week they were joined by GM as a big investor, and then a little bit later this last week, a big scathing article came out by Hindenburg Research. So I wanted to talk about that because I didn't want people to get the wrong impression that I was somehow endorsing Nikola as a stock that you might want to invest in. So even though it has had our interest at times in the past, in fact I even mentioned it to my son, we talked about it, and Hunter actually jumped on it and bought some shares at $4 back before it went public in June. And that stock then subsequently rose to up over $90, at which point he sold. I think he sold around the $75 mark and made a lot of money on it. But it was when he decided to sell, it was after we'd talked about the stock, and you know, we both agreed that there was nothing really evident to us that displayed all this technology that they were claiming to have actually existed. Furthermore, they were not yet producing anything, and furthermore they were yet to even break ground on their factory. And as it turns out, they did have a groundbreaking event a month or so ago, maybe 2 months now, in which they took some chrome-plated shovels and dug up a little hole and cut a ribbon or whatever and had their groundbreaking. But I don't think anything's happened since then. And it's then come out that apparently they don't even have their building permits. And the person that revealed that, I heard, I believe it was on another YouTube channel, or perhaps it was a news broadcast, said, well, that's an understandable oversight by somebody that's never built a factory before. But I've got to tell you, it's just hard for me to believe anybody would think they could just start building something on that scale without a building permit. I mean, even the average landowner or home builder that's a do-it-yourselfer would know to go to the local county and get their building permits. Now, Nikola is a very interesting company in that they claim to have, or have claimed to have, this groundbreaking technology in batteries, claiming that they would have a 600-mile range versus say something like a 400 or 500-mile range with Tesla, which I think most people now agree is the company with the best battery technology. They also claim they had groundbreaking technology in the hydrogen fuel cell capabilities. Now, those two things combined could make for a very interesting and I think investor-worthy look at future growth possibilities. I think that there definitely is probably a place for hydrogen fuel cells in the trucking industry, because with that added to a battery pack, like a hybrid setup, or possibly just running the truck without batteries, I'm not real clear just how that technology combines, but it seems like it's kind of a hybrid setup. With the energy density that's in hydrogen, you could possibly have a vehicle that's capable of heavy hauling with a lighter
empty weight, so therefore it have more payload, with a longer range for sure than a battery can provide, at least with today's technology. Now today is September 13th, 2020, and we're about to have the announcements at Battery Day with Tesla on the 22nd. So I mean, it could very well be that the technology in battery, the battery arena changes quite vastly. Elon Musk himself has said that he's very excited about these announcements and that it will blow our minds. And for Elon Musk to have his mind blown leads me to believe that there's a pretty good chance that whatever it is they're going to announce is quite significant and might have a huge impact on the acceleration of electrical vehicles coming into the market, and the acceleration, for that matter, of ICE vehicles or internal combustion engine vehicles starting to go by the wayside through attrition. So having said that, let's just talk a little bit about Nikola, which was founded by Trevor Milton in 2014 in Salt Lake, Utah. It went public via a SPAC company under the ticker VTIQ, and began trading under the new ticker Nikola, or NKLA, June 4th of 2020. That's what that my son had purchased his stocks while it was still under the VTIQ ticker at about $4 a share. And as I said, not long after it went public and switched to the NKLA ticker, did it go parabolic, really, up to in the $90 range. And at first we were thinking, he would hold it because it was an exciting company. But after seeing Trevor immediately take off or go and buy a very expensive mansion in Utah, I think it's the most expensive home in Utah to date, $23 million or so. And then not long after that, take a private jet with a lot of friends onto a lavish vacation. It just kind of rubbed us wrong as being not really the type of behavior that you would expect from a leader in a new up-and-coming company. Whereas if you, in contrast, look at how Elon Musk ran his company when it was up and coming, he definitely had rolled up his sleeves. Sorry, the air here is just horrible. Today is probably the smokiest day since this fire's been started, the Creek Fire here in Central California. Anyway, Elon Musk was really an example of leadership in its prime, in my opinion. He rolled up his sleeves. He spent his own personal time on the line with his fellow workers, leading by example. And not only that, he put in way more hours than most, I think, of his employees probably did. He was there pretty much 24/7 when conditions necessitated his being there, even as going so far as to sleep on the factory floor. And I can totally relate to that, having built several businesses of my own. When things get lean and stressful, you've got to put in the hours, you've got to put in the work, and sometimes you're really the only one in the company that has that drive and that kind of skin in the game to have that kind of motivation. And it just seems to me that Trevor doesn't have that drive or that motivation. Now, granted, he's been bought out basically, and he's doesn't have the skin in the game that he did before, but he has been retained in the company, and I think has been presented as the leader of that company. And it just seems to us that he should provide the example that title and that role requires. So once we saw his behavior in that regard to buying a lavish home, which seemingly way too early, I would never consider doing something like that in Trevor's Trevor's position until we had production and be very well received by the public. And once we had production, trucks rolling off the assembly line, people buying them, where we had a potential, problem like Tesla has, where the production can't keep up with the demand. Well, now that's reason to celebrate. When you have production that can't keep up with demand, it's time to maybe breathe a sigh of relief, and that you've made it and you're on the right track. So I think the nail in the coffin, which has brought all this tumbling down, ironically, has been the fact that GM got involved and invested, made a deal with Nikola, a $2 billion deal to start, and apparently goes on where Nikola pays GM to produce these vehicles. It basically came out in the interview between Nikola's Trevor Milton and GM's Mary Barra that they were going to be using the GM technology on their Ultium battery and their hydrogen technology as well, and that it rubbed me wrong, and I know it rubbed a lot of other people wrong that are investors and that are watching this stock, that all of a sudden Nikola's technology has just gone by the wayside, and what was supposed to be the world's leading technology in batteries and the world's leading technology in hydrogen has all of a sudden just disappeared and is just to be forgotten. And so why would they do that? Is it possible that it just never existed at all? It was just hype? And if that's the case, having gone public with this company, it puts Trevor Milton, I think, in a lot worse position than if it was still just a private company, because now you've got investors all over the world that are going to be left holding the bag if it turns out these allegations are true, that in fact there was no technology, never has been any technology as they've claimed. Not to mention the fact that now there's allegations coming out by Hindenburg Research, which does have a stake in the game because they are short sellers of the stock, but nevertheless their research does appear to be thorough and truthful. It seems to me that they're basically just coming out with facts that are even backed up by apparently other employees or previous employees of Nikola, that state that they've never had, at least up to a certain point, they never had working prototypes, and that the prototypes they showed at their reveals were in fact not working, and that's why they had them roped off for people so the people could not approach them, touch them, get into them, the truck, and see them up close and personal. There's even been allegations that the videos that Nikola shows of the trucks running are in fact just trucks that are coasting down a hill and then taken with different angles to make it appear as though it's going uphill, or at least on the level. And I think that probably is true, because when you really watch the video closely, it almost appears like it's coasting and it's slowing, it's losing speed. Now, another development I just was made aware of yesterday is that apparently Trevor has gotten on his private jet and left the country. So it apparently went to Austria. Now, it could be he's gone there to check on some prototypes that he's having built by Bosch, or possibly a Badger prototype that's being built in Austria. Now, why you would source that out to some place clear on the other side of the world, or good ways around the world, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why you wouldn't do that right here, but regardless, I guess it provides him a good excuse to get out of the country, at least for now. But it does look really fishy, and we currently hold no stocks in Nikola. I just bought 2 put options yesterday, or put in an order for 2 put options yesterday. We'll see if they hit or not. I have a feeling that the stock price will probably drop in pre-market trading before my day trade order can hit on the options. So I'm going to be up first thing in the morning to see if I can get in on it, but it may be too late already. I have a feeling, guys, that this option or this stock could just plummet to the negative right off the bat Monday morning. It's at 32 or so right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see this thing down to $10 or $5 by the end of the day tomorrow. Today being Sunday. So if you're a current investor, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor, but I would get on the YouTube channels. There's lots of them, and in fact, Galley at Hyper Change did an excellent video on it. And if you look at the comments after his video or below his video, it's pretty funny stuff. A lot of people putting in their 2 cents and what they think about the whole situation. Also, you could check out Sam Alexander's podcast, the Bombshell Hindenburg Report, dropped on Nikola Motors. And Tom Nash did a good one. The first Nikola whistleblower decided to pull the trigger. And then I watched one this morning by Newcomb Finance. I didn't catch the title of it, but it was very well done as well. So check them out. Educate yourself before Monday morning. You may decide you want to get in there and just get out as cleanly as you can. I personally would not want to ride this roller coaster. I'm very comfortable with my Tesla stocks. When they drop, you take that as a opportunity to buy, and I would buy them, and no matter how far down they went, I would just keep buying them, unless of course something came out that was newsworthy and very incriminating. But the situation with this particular stock, the NKLA Nikola stock, it would make me very nervous as an investor, and that's why I'm talking about it, because I did mention them in my previous video, and I don't want folks thinking I'm endorsing that that company. It's just that I do endorse any company that is going to help us get to a greener, more a healthier planet. I can tell you right now, sitting here in this smoke is not fun. I feel like I'm getting emphysema just sitting here. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. I don't like to breathe diesel fumes from any diesel, whether it's clean burning or not, or carbon monoxide from gasoline vehicles. It's just none of it's good for anybody or anything. It's harmful to the air, and as a result, it's harmful for the environment worldwide. And whether climate change is real or not really is beside the point as far as I'm concerned. I just want clean air for myself, my kids, and the future of our planet. And the benefits that go along with that are not only health benefits, but financial ones as well. The amount of money our world economy can save by having a healthier population due to no air pollution is incredible. The amount of time and money that can be saved by folks like me that run businesses based on trucking or vehicles, the savings would be incredible, because you're going to have a lower cost of operation, much lower cost of operation, and a much lower cost for maintenance. As I said in my earlier video, working on these vehicles gets really old. And the electrical vehicles, you don't even hardly have to change the brakes. The brakes brake life is extended exponentially due to the fact that they regenerate upon braking to put power back into their system, which is part of the braking effort in itself. So As a result, the brake pads are the lifespan of the brake pads is greatly extended. So really the only thing that I can think of that you're going to have to maintain on electrical vehicles and trucks that would be the same as diesel and gas counterparts would be the tires. Other than that, everything else is going to be less maintenance, including the brakes. And I mean, there's going to be components that aren't even present anymore in electrical vehicles, save for clutches, of course, the engines and oil changes, transmissions and oil changes, coolant and coolant changes, on all the belts and hoses and fluids that just wear out with time and have to be changed. Not to mention the rear axles. There's gears in their axles that do wear out in time and have to be maintained with gear oil changes. And I mean, it's just I could go on and on and on about how much more sophisticated and how much more intricately sophisticated ICE vehicles are compared to electric. The amount of individual parts it takes to put together an ICE vehicle compared to the amount of individual parts it takes to put together an electric vehicle is probably 10 to 1, if not more. There's so much more that can break down and go wrong with an ICE vehicle. It's not even funny. And the moment you drive off an ICE vehicle from the dealer lot, it's losing value. The moment you drive an EV vehicle off the car lot, it's possible you could be not losing value and possibly even gaining value if full autonomous driving becomes a thing, which I think it will in the next year or two. So it's going to turn out that electric vehicles will become an asset for people rather than a liability and a depreciating, maintenance intense liability. So that's all I have to say, guys. Pardon the coughing and the smoke, but I just thought it might be of interest to you. It's about 1 o'clock, I think, 12:54 Sunday afternoon. It's supposed to be in the 90s, and I'm sure it is above this smoke, but here it's probably in the high 60s, maybe low 70s. It's very cool. Could easily wear a jacket right now due to the smoke cover. And it's probably the worst I've ever seen it in this town, and we've sure had our share of fires in this area. Not to mention all the fires I've been on with my crews to help CAL FIRE and Forest Service fight forest fires. But we're really praying for some rain and some onshore westerly winds to come in and sweep this stuff out of here. In the meantime, I think they're going to start letting people back into their homes on the outskirts of the fire pretty soon, as it seems like it has died down. Well, fortunately, the wind's been very still here recently, so I think it's helped a lot as far as the fire crews dealing with it. And for planes to be able to fly over it. I think there's been a few days now they've been able to fly and do a lot of big retardant drops and that type of thing. So, but this is California, Central California. We may not have tornadoes, but we have forest fires and we have earthquakes. And I guess no matter where you move in the country, you're going to have something. There's, East Coast, you've got your hurricanes. And out here, you've got the earthquakes and forest fires. In the Midwest, you've got tornadoes. So I guess you just got to pick your poison. But anyway, guys, give me your comments below. I'm not going to hound people for likes and subscribes. That's not my style. So if you like it, go for it. But from now on, I'm just going to maybe print a little something on the screen that might just remind you if you like this to help us out. My real goal here is just to get guys like us, guys like me, working class guys, to start thinking about investing in their future, pay themselves a little bit every week so they can invest into the future and hopefully make smart investments that will grow. So when they're about ready to retire, like I am, getting close, they have something to fall back on and have a good life. So that's the point of this channel, and I hope you enjoy it. We're planning on bringing you some entertaining stuff real soon, as well as some good financial information. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a bald dude in an orange shirt, so take that in consideration as well and do your own research. Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon. God bless.